Yeah. How senior product manager think differently. I often got asked how a product manager could get promoted to more senior level. The truth is, getting a promotion is often a complicated game. Yes, your skills and achievement play a role, but so do the other factors such as how much your manager care about developing talent and how good and tenure your peers are, how political the company is, etc. So this article is about how to get promoted to senior PM, but about how to advance thinking and become a better PM. Anyone can think like a senior PM regardless of their title, and just because of one has a senior PM title doesn't mean they truly deserve it. The diagram below shows different ways can do product depending on how clear you are about the problem and the solution. To advance your product craft, you have to comfortable operating all level of clarity and learn to different tools you can also use in each situation. How can we ship the quickly? How can we ensure we do this well? Is there a better way to solve the problem? Is the problems worth solving? What are the highest value problem we can should be looking at? How can we future proof our product? Oh, nice diagram. First I want to more bookmark this. Then I will continue because I want to study in future. I'm making already too many products, so I want to use in the future. Nice one. Graph is between a problem and a solution. How can we ship this quickly? Nice word. Unclear, clear, unclear, clear. Okay, clear. How can we ensure do this well? Is there a better way to solve the problem? Is the problem worth solving? What are the highest value problems should we get looking at? How can we future proof our product? Oh, oh, oh. Here, how do you know whether a problem is clear? Some indicator of a clear problem. You can articulate the impact of the business and the user. You understand the root cause of the problem well. You have decided this problem and not clear problem should be addressed now, and you can say that a solution is clear if you are confident that solution can solve the problem. You are considered an array of solution, and this one wins in a term of cost advantage. Your team know how to deliver the solution. In the article we are going to cover the tools and you can deploy different solutions, and in the end let all cover the pitfalls to look out for. Nailing the basics, excellent execution. When the problem has already been defined and the solution has been agreed upon, the focus is execute it really well. This is usually the main playing field of a more junior PM. Senior PM have the master the aspect too, of course, but they could choose to be less hand-on. Excellent education. How can we ship it quickly and how can we ship well? How can we ship this quickly? This is about managing the backlog. Make sure the ticket are clearly written, rightly sized, correctly prioritized, and effectively worked on. It might also include running the ceremonies that enable the team to achieve the above, such as a sprint planning, refinement, and retro. In a traditional Scrum team, this is a product owner responsibility. In more established organization, it often see this being run by a tech lead. If you are lucky enough to have a good tech lead on your team, don't fret. As a PM, you bring your unique value by make sure the engineer understand the business and concept of the work and how it contribute to the business goal, helping them to vertically slice the work from independently shippable chunks. Depending on how complex the feature is, shipping the whole feature can be take months. If you could find a way to slice the feature into smaller chunks, that can be still bring value to the user. That means shipping quicker also means getting feedback from the user faster and reducing the risk of spending months building the wrong thing. How can we ensure do we do this well? This is where testing and experimentation come in. You might want to do some usability testing using a prototype before asking the engineer to write any code. You might choose to roll out a feature immediately or do an A/B test before rolling out the winning version. The different type of the tests and experiment are like tools in the toolbox. You have understand what each one does, so you can pick and choose the right tool for right situation. Prototype usually similar testing What it does: test whatever the user know how to use the solution. What it doesn't: test whether the user want to use the solution. This is how it is going. You show a clickable prototype and ask somebody to complete a task related to solution. Example: could you show me we sh- how you would upload a photo? Your job is then to observe silently, take note. Do they know intu- intuitively which button to click? Do understand what going to happen when they do a certain action? Is the copy confusing them? This test is quick and low cost way to make sure you don't waste valuable engineering resource. You can use a platform like usertesting.com, which allow you to set up test units before you log off the day, and voila, the result are there is the next day. User testing is might be a costly option if you are working for very small start with. You can test the prototype with virtually anyone except for the people who are already too familiar with the product. Rolling out a feature incrementally. This means instead of rolling out a feature of 100% user immediately, you have incrementally. There are few use cases that we use. You want to make sure that the feature doesn't break anything. As a PM, you have understand what the control metrics are. Control metrics are the things you don't want to harm as you're releasing new things, such as app crash rate or a number of customer complaints. You want to measure the impact of the feature by rolling it out only to the subset of users, or you can also do opposite: keep a small haul out group who doesn't get the feature for a period of time. You can solo cost the impact of feature bring to the metric you want to move. Just make sure that you distribute the user evenly. Yes, technically this also count a A/B test, but the sake of this article I use the term A/B test exclusively for two or more differentiation. When to not to do this: when your user is screaming for a solution and the one you are about to ship can't make things or worse. I would even sacrifice the ability to measure the impact when things are that bad. Do an A/B test. The literal meaning of A/B test is just sitting testing solution A/B and seeing which one platform better. You can A/B test a prototype, or you can A/B test in a live environment. You can make a ABC test, or you can use a combination of different component in each version. The goal here is identify the winning version of a solution. You might have heard a famous example how Google experimented with 41 shades of blue and gained a US 200 million revenue increase. But unless you have $1 million billion user and tiny percentage increase equal to huge value, and I wouldn't recommend going to overboard and with A/B test. There are user journey that you would want to improve until you are nailed them, such as acquisition and activism journey. The touch point are where they convert a visitor into a paying user, and the impact is easily measurable. But in the other part of journey, such a where user actually use your product to complete a task, a simple A/B task usually does the job. Critical evolution and thoughtful pushback. When this point onward, I would say that this is a differentiator between a product manager or digital product manager. A product manager's job is to deliver a product successfully. Somebody else has defined the problem, decided that it worth solving, and figure out a solution that need to be delivered. Critically eventually a solution is there to solve the problem, and eventually a problem is that problem worth solving, and are the what product thinking to next level. This might mean saying no or pushing back to the stakeholders, and in some cases it could be a difference between an in-house PM or a PM working on agency. An agency usually hired to execute a particular project. I imagine the agency won't be very amused if their PM conclude that the project is needed to at all. Is there a better way to solve the problem? There are different ways to can we define a better solution. Better could mean faster to build, cheaper cost of integration, most valuable for the business long term, or more effective in solving short term problem. As a PM, it's your job to understand the strategic importance of a problem you're building, which enable you to put right contrast for a solution. You should then amaze the expertise of the people in your team, engineer, data science, and designer, to figure out a different solution that satisfy the construct. Understanding the strategic importance of the problem. I have seen PM stuck with just one principle when they gave direction to the team. The principle could be speed. I just want to be out to as soon as possible, or the best user experience possible. Our product has been a world class or a whatever. The downfall here is what they fail to recognize that not all problem and solution are created equal. As a PM, you want to be able to articulate which company objective are trying to address my working on this. What are the problem are you tackling? On my 5 minute problem, how do we know that it is problem? How do you know if the solve the problem? What outcome metrics will be impacted? What output metric will be measuring, and how will they influence the outcome metrics? Providing the context and contrast of your team. I'm not a fan of pages or a periodic program, and definitely not a fan of handing over the PRD engine. You should provide the context as we discussed just now, company and contrast, resources, time, and number of engine user segment edge cases that should solve or comment. Remember that goal isn't always to build something perfect or everyone. It's fine to say that we just want to be quick and dirty solution for user segment. Again, we don't care about the edges cases by engine. Assuming that you have considered carefully and you are happy with the trade-off. Does he understand what he said, or is he saw the trade magazine ad? What color do you want to that looks? I think amazing that their expertise to figure out the solution. Now it's your time to take a step back and let your team shine. Give them a time to do their own thinking, techniques, work, or wireframing. You should still be there to provide guidance, news, and at the end of the process, if there are multiple possible good solutions, it's your job to take call. A design sprint is a format that you use the process. Another way to bake the into a regular sprint, some type also referred to a dual track cycle. The former is old way to thinking. The latter is usually more convenient and less destructive, especially if your team has a deal. Is this problem worth solving? Now, depending on how product led to company is questioning whether a problem is worth solving might be easy. Product request could vary. Even the CEO and the PM might take if we assume good intent, if not complaint. Or product realization request have some level of merit. Maybe none of them have to really wish. Let occupy you want to be tool quantify event. It's more important one must thought towards the you can qualify impact the considering these factor which then translate into dollar value. Reach the number of user impacted, intensity, how painful the current state it and their user segment, how valuable the user segment is for the company. The reach could be minimum, but the handful of user might be as much as possible. Bring hard data and number to subjectivity. Understand the true cost of feature. It's usually pretty straightforward to estimate how much it's going to cost to build a feature. Take a time estimation from the engineer and with the salary, but you have to remember there is another type of cost apart from the cost of building, cost of maintaining. Once the feature is live, your team is always responsible to maintain it and fix any issue arise. Cost of bulking of your code base will be more complex to this feature. Slightly longer due to the extra complexity. A new junior will take longer to understand the code base. Cost of improving, you can iterate that the feature will perfectly solve the problem, but it really but the real that ground with it, change the copy, tweak the setup, etc. Cost of coordinating, you and your team will have a joint meeting, write and play an update, give a head up or related team, etc. And obviously you also have to consider the opportunity cost. How else could we have to use our time? What potential loss from missed opportunity? Understanding time sensitivity. The question is not always the is this problem worth solving. It could be also be why now. A tiny crack in the wall might not have an impressive impact number now, but ignoring it might be cause you a huge problem down the line. Understanding the cost of doing nothing, the cost of delay. We frame agency, quoting myself with the article. Some problem are like a fire. You either have to solve them now or rebuild later. Other product like a leakaging roof. It get worse and worse slowly until the whole roof fall down. some other problem are like a puddle of water. It's but it doesn't harm anyone else. Everyone know walk around it. Pushing back thoughtfully. Now you've done all the exercise and you have convinced that this problem is not actually worth solving. At least for now, pushing back to necessary part of the job as a boring person. The difference between successful people and really successful people is the successful people say no to the almost everything. My principle is pushing back. Don't beat around the push. If you are not going to deliver their request, say it's early and straight so that you consider that request a careful and talk over the thought process that lead to you to conclusion. So what the team is doing instead they are building something more valuable, you have to able to articulate that committing even after disagreeing. We all have been there. The hippo has been his highest paid person option have delivered something you disagreed with. This time to Grant and went to team. Jeff Rogers from Amazon popularized the concept of disagree and commit to, which is I personally love. I totally recommend reading the whole letter if you haven't read. You might have disagreed in the background, but also a PM, leader of the team. You have to present a unit front and with the leadership, even guys for the work. Sourcing strategic opportunity. Now we are thinking to highest level of ambiguity, both of the person and the solution. It is great opportunity to take a step back and see a bigger picture. For the highest value problem, we should be looking at answering the question require a deep understanding of why and how user and a factor they consider when the switch. And however, Professor Clayton Christine first introduced the framework. Since then, it becoming one of the most effective product development framework. Understand the user job to be done. The main thing of the GTBD is to understand how what the user is trying to accomplish when they hire your product. The answer is usually deeper than obvious. Imagine the product you manage is an MBA program. People do an MBA for a variety of reasons, to switch career, to advance current career path, to start their own business, etc. You can dig deeper into the reason. Example for the people who said they're doing an MBA to advance their current path. What does actually mean? What blocking them right now? Are they lacking confidence or do they have a knowledge gap? Do they just need a degree to prove their credential? Understand the deeper reason why able to identify improvement opportunity you could implement in a product to serve your user need better. Understanding your user switching factor. When user decide to use your product to they switch from what they were using before. This is true even if you aren't using any product previously, doing nothing to therefore process laying in somebody decision to switch. Push factor, pain point and dissatisfaction around the current situation. Advantage or benefit of the new solution. Concern or worries about the new solution. Comfort and familiarity. Anxiety with existing solution. Your job as a PM to uncover the situation factor from user to you and proactively reduce the barrier to switching. Let's look at the four factor using an MBA example again. How can we prove our product? Improving your product is not always concentrated with your current playing field. Radical innovation usually comes with a looking onward. Understand the competitive landscape for product. As we discussed in the previous section, your product competitor are just obvious. University X is not just a competing with University I or Jet promoting the MBA. It is also competing against bootcamp, online course, podcast, executive coaching, and even Netflix. In mapping this alternative and comparing with the other product, your consumer need as other side of the axis and assess how well each product is satisfying the need. A simple example below. It's also useful to be complementary exercise mapping a user segment, as each segment will have different need and not all segments are equally valuable to your business. Mapping the need into hygiene, performance and delegator, aka Kanu model. The article is already getting too long. I'm cutting them out. If you want to learn more about this, let me know comment section. I will let you deep. Now imagine MBA program product manager. You are tasked to figure out completely new product that disturb an MBA. You can customer map and define which need are unmet by currently available solution, create a unique new program and struggle proposal, and finding opportunity to expand your product value chain. It's not just a competitor or new entrant or that could disturb your product. There are other factors at play. A famously made Michael Porter in the five forces analysis in his framework. Porter talk about the recognizing the bargaining power of customer supply. If your supplier can jack up price, you are left with no option. You are screwed. If your customer can switch away from with the no problem and negotiate the price down to nothing, you are in trouble. If you want to increase your product likelihood of a long-term success, you have to reduce your bargaining power by increasing. Now he had a point, but they were having made him uncomfortable. It's imply a power play where the one party has to lose. I prefer to think about another way. How might we expand our product value chain? Let take Shopify example. It started in an online store builder. A small business owner can configure their brand and store their item, and voila, they have their own online store in 15. When the target customer was the people who already had a business and item to sell, they just needed online presence. Then Shopify and find opportunity. They what aspiring entrepreneur who want to start their online business but don't know what to sell it. They expanding their offering, also market dropshipping. The next step in managing an online store is fulfilling the order by sending it to customers. Shopify also decide to expand to that area by providing the fulfillment network. Shopify makes it harder to customer to switch away by making all itself valuable and not easily replicable. It's however also been for customer. The takeaway for you: try to map out a process that a customer go through accomplish their JTV. Is there a way to expand their value together? Long article. Thanks for making this far. You can also take away one thing here. It is there is no single tool that all time you can improve your product magnificently craft. Increasing number of tools have tools knowing when deeply just good if you are I have questioning the problem is always too much. You don't always have to use the most advanced tools smart to prove that you questioning the problem and the solution too much. You don't always have to use the most advanced tools smart or prove that you operate like a senior product. If your cost of thinking is higher than the cost of building and shift, and the market will tell if you are right. Questioning the problem and solution too late in the question. This is usually work. PM. They thought somebody else has done the job, clarifying the problem and solution, and a very old PM with the company and the user and the women, so they took thing for granted. For new and I referring their tenure in the company by the if you're not sure how to clear a problem solution, I haven't. It's so nice, bro. Thanks for recording. Voice minute.